So our story begins in the South Bronx in 2006, and I am 22. And it is my first year teaching first grade, and I am very bad at it. And I would very much like to be very good at it, but I'm not yet. And so it is December, and I have been struggling and trying stuff, and it kind of works, but then it really doesn't work, and all sorts of things. But then it's December, and my school is going to have a Christmas song spectacular in the cafeteria right before winter break. And so I am delighted because finally I am going to prove to everyone that I am competent at something. Because I am 22, but I have had over a decade of musical theater experience. And so the first graders might not know how to read yet, but they will know how to sing and dance to an elaborate Christmas song. And most teachers rather, picked pretty short songs, and I did not. I picked Sleigh Ride, which is very long and has a lot of lyrics, which means that it required a lot of practice, and I was game. So we've practiced, and I'm finding 10 to 15 minutes of practice time all the time, and anytime a lesson is going really, really badly, which unfortunately was frequently, I was all right, we're gonna stop. We're gonna do the holiday song. The kids were yeah, holiday song, it's gonna be awesome. So they were jazzed about it. Except for Chandler. And in hindsight, I feel I maybe shouldn't have said his name because he was 6, but he doesn't live in Philadelphia. Chandler, I love him. He was a troubled child, but he made my first year of teaching extraordinarily difficult, more difficult than it would have been if he were not in my class. And so it's the day of the show, and we're practicing, and I'm all right, kids, we're gonna do it one more time in the class. And then we're gonna go down to the cafeteria. We're gonna be the best first grade singing and dancing class ever. The kids are yeah. So I'm all right, get ready. When I say go, you're gonna stand up and push in your chair and walk to the carpet But Chandler doesn't wait for me to say go because he doesn't follow the rules. And he jumps out of his chair to get everyone's attention, does this big spin move, and slips and falls and cracks his head on the edge of a table. And he is okay, but he is bleeding a little. So I have to call the nurse, and I'm all right, everyone heads down. And all the kids put their heads down. And that made me feel good because I was a 22-year-old first-year teacher, but I was all right, if it was a real crisis, we would not die because they have listened to me now. And that was good. So I call, and the nurse comes, and they take Chandler to the nurse, and the kids are all with the heads down, and Chandler is okay, and the nurse calls me, and it's pretty much a scratch, it's a flesh wound, he's gonna be fine. He's going home for the day, makes sense. I tell the kids, Chandler's gonna be okay. But this big holiday showcase is still happening in 5 minutes. And in my mind, I'm this is the only thing that has kept me going for all of December, because all I want to do is go home to Philadelphia to see my parents, and I'm not. I'm in the Bronx. And so I'm all right, kids, we're going to do it. We're going to try. And Charisma, whose name perfectly described her personality, and she was a doll. She's raises her hand. She's but Miss Landry, we can't do it without Chandler. And what I'm thinking is, false charisma, because we practiced when Chandler was suspended on Monday. But that is not what I say. Charisma, it's gonna be fine. Chandler is fine. We know he's okay. And so pull it together, and they go to the carpet, and they start to sing, but they also start to cry. And so they are singing and crying, just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling, too. And they go through it once, and they're weeping. They pull it together, and we go down to the cafeteria, and we perform. And if I was Jaime Escalante, I would say the best gift was that they pulled it together in the cafeteria, but I am not Jaime Escalante. The best gift was that I have in my mind forever a vision of 26 6-year-olds singing and dancing and weeping in unison in a classroom in the South Bronx. Thank you.